Oh, look who it is.
Mr. Pickles jacked up, man.
Oh, well, he looked good. He's looking slim, Mr. Pickles.
Mr. Pickles is all about the weight loss, Stu.
Nice.
This is absolutely all about the weight loss.
But I gotta make sure that he's working, because
There he is.
those fellas are. Did you have a nice Easter?
I did.
Yeah,
How about you?
I did. It was hard for me to. Yeah, you got my juice. You love the taste of my juice in your mouth, Stu.
It's the best.
So, Easter egg hunts are hard for Pickles. I found out I have a disability. Did you know Did you know I'm a disabled American pickle?
I did not.
Yeah, DAP. So the reason is because I don't have any hands. So I went to the Easter egg hunt, right? And I expected they would have like service buddies there, somebody to pick up the eggs for me. I would point like, hey, there's one over there. Pick it up where that little rat bastard kid does, And nope, nothing. I'm discriminated against. Seriously.
Sorry.
This is disgusting. Disgusting. So I would write a letter to my congressman, but again, no arms, Stu. So I'm learning all about this voice to text stuff.
Oh.
So I'm gonna be good.
All right.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thanks for caring.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah,
I like
thanks.
that.
Appreciate that. All right, I'll turn it back over to Jim.
And there you go.
All
You're
right.
losing weight. You've lost some weight.
It's calisthenics and cardio time, Jim.
Oh, cows and cardio is the key
Cows and
to
cardio.
effective weight loss and good cardio help.
Get out of that heavy weightlifting mode, and I'm an easy gainer these days, Jim. I gotta be careful. Gotta watch it. Can't outwork your diet anymore.
An easy gainer. Now I don't
Yes.
understand something here, Nancy. I had a stat that we're not streaming over at the Jim and Stu show. It says the event hasn't started yet, but I put it in there for it to start. That's weird. I don't know. It's strange, and we only got like 2 people viewing us on social media. So strange.
Huh.
I don't know whether I hooked something up wrong or what. If you want to say hi, Blair's watching us over on the YouTubes. I wonder if, anyway, it just is what it is. I probably pissed Zuckerberg off, and that's what it is. So I'm going to go. Can you guys make sure we're on Facebook, Nancy? Are we showing up on Facebook? Okay.
We will record it, and I'll share it later.
Get her posted. All right. So
you know what we're going to do with this one, Jim?
What are we going to do?
We're going to have to get creative with this podcast.
Okay.
All right.
Why?
Because that's the title of this podcast is the Jim and Stu Show. We're going to combine the podcast and the Jim and Stu Show into one thing event today. So we're getting creative with the time that we have available into one show. So this is podcast 157.
Okay.
Sales, copywriting, content, marketing hacks podcast. Everybody, welcome. Welcome, Jim. Glad to have you on here.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here too, Stu.
Yeah. So anyway, what we're doing is the original title of this was called Don't Skip Creativity Day. Right.
Okay.
And I know you have a special day where you kind of focus on the week ahead and what that is. Sorry, I'm Italian today.
No, just okay. So this is listen and this is thinking. This is thinking and this is thising.
I'm thinking with my hands.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, you have that creativity day, and you kind of put together the week and marketing and all of that, and it all just kind of flows together on that one day. And I wanted to try to discuss some of the things that we are doing to help us get into a better creative state so we can actually utilize some of those brain cells that may be shifted off because we're constantly stressed and thinking about something else? How do we pull into that creative state?
I thought a lot about this, Stu. Has
Good.
the podcast started yet?
Yes, we are ready to go. Podcast is ready. Podcast 157. Sales, Copywriting, Content Marketing Hacks podcast with Jim and Stu.
All right.
Go, Jim.
So interestingly enough, I think a lot about creativity because a lot of people. Can I go to the board, Stu?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go to the board. I'm gonna do one little thing so it doesn't change the focus and make everybody think flashback to college and LSD experimentation and stuff. But okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of people believe that creativity is something that just happens like a lightning bolt out of the sky. That's a lightning bolt, by the way. Okay. So it just comes out of this cloud and it hits you in the head. And it's like, I don't know how to spell Eureka, so I'll just be like that. But it's like, Eureka, I got my $1 million idea. That's the thing. Everybody thinks that creativity is just something that happens out of the blue. And that's not how creativity works. So how does creativity work? Where does creativity come from? Well, creativity is basically when experience and some sort of stimuli meet. So this is where creativity comes from. And it's a delicate thing, though, because you can cultivate creativity, you can practice creativity, but ultimately it comes down to setting yourself up to be in the right place at the right time for creativity to happen. And there are some ingredients. Normally, you have to be relaxed. So it's like the difference between a microwave, okay, and a crock pot, where the crock pot simmers all day and it smells awesome all day. And then at the end, sometimes it's good when you're sampling throughout the day, pissing your wife off the whole time. Get out of that! I heard the lid! As opposed to, this is like, bip, 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 give me an instant result. So sometimes you can get a creative result real fast with the microwave if you are using like a wizard or a template or a checklist or something where you're like, okay, give me, you're whacking the button with the wizard and it's giving you these different ideas for an article or something that can stimulate an idea that you're like, okay, I got the idea. Now I know what to do. It's more process. The creativity comes from the process, as opposed to the crockpot moments where normally you have to be relaxed. You have to be sorry, I thought Nancy was voxing me. You have to be in a situation like, okay, for example, have you ever been in the shower? Yes, this is a naked stick figure. Okay. You ever been in the shower and you had an idea?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Happens all the time. Why? Because you're probably relaxed. Plus, there's some real evidence about water, your body being in water, equalizing your energy fields and all, which I do believe in all that stuff. Equalizing your energy fields and just kind of letting go of stuff. Because what's happening in your brain, and let me just preface all of this by saying I am not a psychologist. I am not really intended to. Oh, let's zoom this out. In fact, we'll use another board. Here's your head, Stu. That's a big head.
Thank you.
So Stu is happy. Stu's got a big brain, but there's all kinds of stuff going on in Stu's brain all the time. There's all kinds of things he's got to get done. There's videos playing in there. There's thoughts about things. There's all kinds of confusion. And there's just all this stuff going on. And in order to be creative, you got to be relaxed. You also got to have a way for you to be able to take the known and synthesize it with the unknown. And with all this stuff that's going on in your brain, you don't have time to think. Yeah, you probably said, you need to be quiet. I can't think. Everybody say that all the time. Why? Because there's too much of the wrong stimulation coming in. So I have found that there are certain times when I can be more creative and have trained myself to be more creative. The first time is between 5 and 7 o'clock in the morning. That's when I can be the most creative. How can I intensify that even more? I can go for a walk, not a run. Oh my God, my foot's broken. But a walk, okay? And I walk in a very specific way. I have my phone with me, not to talk to people, but I have my phone with me so I can record notes in Otter. And so what I'll do is I'll walk, I'll have a stimuli. I'll have a question that I want to answer. I'll have an email that Susan has sent me. Hey, I need you to create something on this. And then I start walking and I start talking. And that gets the motor going. It's kind of like when you're working out. Is the first mile the easiest or the hardest? When you're running, is the first mile the one where you have all the crazy stuff? I'm tired. I ate too much. I ate too much last night. I need to pee. I need to poop. I shouldn't have drunk that coffee. I've got stuff I need to do. I've got things. This is going to take forever. When is this going to be over? My arm hurts. My knee hurts. Shit, my butt hurts. There's all this stuff going. You know what I'm saying?
That first mile's rough, man. That first mile's rough.
And I'm like, I haven't done cardio in 3 days, and so I've lost all the things I built up over the last 30 years. And, I got a little, I just had a little pain in my knee. Is that pain going to stick with me for the rest of my life? Am I going to, and then as you do it, you kind of work all that crap out and things start to kind of even out. And so that's what happens. And it's scientifically proven. I saw this on Google, so it must be true. Or Google News, even more true, right? Because all the news is true. But when you're walking, your ability to solve problems and your ability to think more clearly is magnified like 90% by moving and walking. That's why if you want to solve a problem, stand up and pace around, because that literally will help you to solve a problem better. So I know that this time, 5 to 7, that's when I can be like, let's call it creativity, like in the wild. It's creativity with no real specific outcome in mind, other than I got to create some content or just think some stuff through. That's the other thing where creativity will come from, is just thinking stuff through, talking things out. I've had some major breakthroughs in the last 6 months, just walking along and talking stuff out. Neighbors think I'm crazy. I don't care. And then I'll put my finger up to my ear where my earbud is. So they think, and I'm holding my phone. So they think I'm talking on the phone. Man, that guy talks on his phone a lot. So that's another way to stimulate creativity, is start looking at a process, start looking at how you're doing something, thinking about, have a thought and then run it through your experience. So like with content in the Jim Edwards Method Premium webinar that we're doing at 11 o'clock in just not too long from now, I'm going to be teaching a lot from the stuff that I figured out from all the massive amounts of content that we've been doing for the last 6 months. And it's very interesting, the things that I figured out, what's working, why it's working, what's not working, what you think is working that's not actually working. And that comes from just paying attention to what's going on. But again, you can't do that if your mind is filled up with all that stuff. So what do you think is the number one killer of creativity for me? It starts with an E and ends with an L.
Email.
Very good, Stu. Email. Nothing will kill your creativity faster than checking your email. Why? Because it activates the U word, urgency. There is always something urgent that needs to get taken care of in your email. And as a result, as soon as urgency goes up, creativity goes down. Think about it. Are you feeling very creative when you're reacting to some chucklehead in your help desk or in your email who's bitching about the fact that they lost their book or they didn't get their book and they're being an asshat? Or you see some notification that somebody's being a douche over on Facebook or something, and you're like, oh my God, what is wrong? And what is wrong with people? As soon as it's okay, creativity's gone. Creativity's like a cat. All right? The cat wants loving when the cat wants loving. All right? But you can also entice the cat if you know the cat. If you understand, hey, the cat likes these treats, the cat likes this blanket. Sometimes cat don't want to be around you. And so you got to know when to capture creativity. But you can also train yourself to be creative. I train myself that this is when I'm creative. Literally, I give myself permission to be creative during this time frame.
Nice.
And then now what we've started doing, because I have these creative fits, is on Friday now, I don't take any appointments on Friday. No appointments, no meetings, no webinars, no nothing. Friday is, we call it Wizard Day. And that's the day I work on wizards. Why? Because the wizards are my superpower. The wizards are my things that's my thing. All right. Figuring out how to make complicated stuff more easy. So all day Friday is devoted to fixing old wizards or inventing new wizards. And I actually look forward to it. I look forward to this now because I know that I get to spend a day in my genius. Now, did I come up with this idea on my own? No. The people at 3M, the people that invented 3M, or not 3M, the people at 3M who invented the Post-it note. It's my understanding that at 3M, they implemented this thing where they let people work on whatever they wanted for a whole day. They got to pick the day, or it was Friday, I don't remember which, but it was one day a week when everybody's working on their own thing as related to the business. And the people who invented the stick-'em on the back of Post-it notes were actually trying to make a massively strong adhesive. Like at first they thought that this little stick-'em thing that stayed sticky through use after use after use was a huge failure, but they turned it into a huge success. But it was invented on that creativity day. So now what I've done is train myself to be creative in a specific area for a whole day. And another way to activate your creativity is with what I call, this is back to the crock pot, okay, is what I call subconscious cooking. Do you ever look at a problem or look at something and say, hey, let me cook on that for a while and I'll get back to it? I do it all the time. I send commands to my subconscious mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, back burner, I call it.
Okay.
It's my back burner.
Right. But you know that you're cooking on it. And before I go to bed, I will tell my mind, okay, in the morning, I'm going to work on this. So I want you to cook on this overnight. And we're going to do this in the morning in my magic 5 to 7 time. And so there's another thing that I found to stimulate this is the in-between. How do I describe this? So there's a certain level of physical activity This goes back to the walking thing. There's a certain level of physical activity where you're just all over the place in your mind. Okay, like if you're just kind of farting along and it's like me muttering to myself at Ollie's, like following my wife around. So like, what'd you say? Nothing. And it's usually like me bitching about the fact that she's going too slow. But then on the far end, if you're doing wind sprints, you can't think about anything other than keeping up with your, with doing stuff. But as you dial that back, at least for me, I find this area where I can have a singularity of focus. That's not on the physical thing, but it's like I can be hyper focused on something without the noise. And so that's another place where I can vary my walking speed to increase this level of focus and concentration on something. And I noticed that I'll speed up my walking when I really get my teeth into an idea. And that's why I found that this having the freedom and the other thing is being able to release the worry that you're not going to be able to capture the ideas. So it's like you're worried, like you have an idea. I ran butt naked out of the shower the other day through the house, streaking past my wife. She's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "Need paper, need pen. I got to write something down." And so she's like scrambling to get me something. And I had to write this thing down because if I didn't get it and get it right then, it's going to get lost. So if you can set up an environment where your ideas aren't going to get lost, that's how I feel like Richard Nixon sometimes, because we record everything now. Every Zoom call is transcribed, recorded and transcribed, just because there might be that one thing, but I'm not going to cut out 19 minutes because I don't want to get impeached. But that's the other thing is the more stress you can relieve about everything, like, is it too hot? Is it too cold? Do I have coffee? So you kind of strategically set yourself up for success. All right. Take a piss before you go for a walk, or know where the tree is, know where you can get away with it. Seriously, you gotta have, go to the bathroom, have your coffee, have your pen, have your paper, have a recording device, do all these things so that you don't have stress, because stress is a killer of creativity.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
because you're no longer thinking creatively when you're under stress, you're reacting.
Right. And I think that goes back to caveman days, because Og couldn't sit around and be like, I wonder if I could invent a wheel. What's that? I heard something behind him. That's a saber-toothed tiger, man. It's some Cro-Magnon guy of a different, Homo sapien, that whole East Coast, West Coast, Homo sapien versus Cro-Magnon thing going. You can't be creative if you're got the least little thing that somebody's going to hit you in the back of the head with a rock.
That is true.
But that's a little stressor thing.
Sure. So
that's, and I fully believe, though, that creativity is a muscle that can be developed, and you can get more creative as you are creative, as you reinforce creativity, and you say to yourself, "Hey, I can be creative, and I get cool stuff out of being creative." So I've talked a lot, Stu. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have to agree with you, Jim. I have something similar, but I also have a little bit different. I, like you, set a schedule of my day to engage the thinking and creative part of my brain.
Okay.
That's during my workouts as well. From like 6 to 8 a.m., that is when I am most creative. Now, I'll get it started earlier. Like I'll wake up 5-ish somewhere, and I'll get it started for those first 30, 45 minutes, and then I'll go do my workout. But I have two different mindsets, almost like your microwave and crock pot version. Very similar, by the way. I like that analogy. Quite creative.
Thank you.
Mine's a little bit less creative, but it's two different categories. So I have a bigger picture focus creativity that requires no screens, relaxation, and easy movement. So, some of my most creative are walking, deep breathing, doing some box breathing while I walk, and swimming. So when I'm swimming laps back and forth, that gets pretty boring, but my mind is allowed to, instead of thinking, God, this is boring, I actually try to take advantage of that moment and get creative. And I've left workouts early because I came up with such a great idea that I got to go get started on it. And usually those are bigger picture items for me. They're new projects. They're, solving, world hunger. They're big picture items, Jim, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's
and
big stuff.
It's also, during my mobility days, like one of the reasons why I came up with this title for this podcast is "Don't Skip Creativity Day," is because I have an article I wrote called "Don't Skip Mobility Day."
Right.
Just like, in the fitness world, "Don't Skip Leg Day" is a big, big cliche.
Guys, the little twiggy legs.
Yeah, big cliche in the fitness world. But Don't Skip Mobility Day is one of mine. Really important days. One, because it makes my body feel better, but two, it also allows me to really engage that creative space that you also mentioned.
Well, what's implied with Mobility Day is today is a day of rest, not rest, but it's a recovery and relax your muscles and kind of regroup day, which naturally is about relaxing and just de-stressing a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You're physically de-stressing, which therefore helps your, brain and everything, hormone levels, just help you create a little bit. So that is my bigger picture stuff. Like I come up with new book ideas. I actually go into newer, like even bigger thoughts. Like, what is Stu 20 years from now?
Right.
Like, who am I going to be in my 70s? Maybe I'll be the mobility man, right? The super limber 70-year-old dude that that shows people how to de-stress their life. I don't know, but I'm slowly realizing that there will be a time when I'm the old guy talking about spec ops fitness, and maybe I should evolve into that next layer. So it's.
You remember that cool one onesie that Jack LaLanne wore with the ballet slippers? We'll get you one of them, only in camo, digicamo.
Sweet.
And that,
Jack, if I can evolve like Jack LaLanne, that would be an awesome path. Like he has kind of set the path from like older crazy fitness stunts to teaching and evolving and being super fit vegetarian when he's in his 80s. Yeah. So the other one, my microwave version, is one that actually requires screens, actually requires emails. In fact, I did it this morning because I have an article I write on Wednesday called Ask Stu, and I was just looking for questions. So I scroll through all of my sent emails from the past week, and I see what kind of questions I answered to people, and there's dozens of them. And I found one that I actually wrote a paragraph on, just cut and pasted the whole question in my paragraph, pulled it over to Word, and now I'm formulating an article out of that initial thought that I'd done on, like Saturday morning. So that's one way to do it. Checking emails, checking DMs, checking, answering questions is a way for me to like short-term, tactical, not strategic, like my bigger relaxed version or more strategic thinking processes and bigger plans. And the, my daily tactical stuff that I need to get done often involves, a little bit of a reaction to, someone's question that engages a short-term creativity answer.
Yeah, it's stimulation with a short-term objective. That's the third part that you don't always need. Well, it's the third part that you don't always need, but it can also drive the creativity. Here, let me stand again, Stu.
Okay.
And it's experience, stimuli, and a specific objective. So I need to write an article. Okay. So I need to write an article. Let me go find a question and I'll draw on my experience, and that creates a creativity explosion or a blip of creativity instantly when I need it. Does that make sense? And another thing that helps with that too is a framework. So this is where wizards come in. That says framework, by the way. So if you have a framework, then that takes away stress, because now you just plug into something you know is going to kick out what you need. So like a word of the day or a 60-second tidbit or a quote, doing the quote wizard or any of these things, a listicle, a checklist, because you have the specific objective. I need to create some content. I need to create a book. I need to come up with a new idea. I need to write an email. Stimuli. Look at a question. Look at old emails. Look at things people are asking or saying, or look at your own problem. There's just different ways to have that stimuli. Plug it into a framework so you don't have to think, and then draw on your experience. So this is the holy grail. You skip to the end, Stu, but this is this is the ultimate. This is the quad creativity crock pot. Okay, no, you know what? It's not the crock pot, and it's not the microwave. It's the instant pot. It's got the power of a microwave combined with the savory stew making ability of a crock pot. It's total bullshit right now, but it sounds good.
It's pretty good.
The quad creativity instant pot. The quip. Ooh. Okay, anyway, but you think about it, that's exact. Stimuli comes in, whether by accident or on purpose. That's, stimuli is going to come. You can choose it, which is smarter. So stimuli comes in, or you can start with, I need to do this. I need to write a book. I need to write a thing. I need to create this. I need to do a video. What's a framework that I can use? Okay, let me do some kind of like a little 60-second tip. Okay, what's the tip going to be about? Then I go look for stimuli. So that's the other thing. One of the reasons why creativity will come in different things will activate the process. It can come through the front door, come through the back door, come through a window, crash through the roof like a meteorite. So that's the other thing. But pretty much it doesn't really ever start with your experience. The experience is what drives the
answer.
The answer. Yeah. Right. Experience and knowledge, frame of reference. But normally it comes from stimuli or an objective. I need to do this, or somebody asked that, or I saw this and it made me think of you. I saw that, made me think of you. That's, stimuli response type thing. This is quite the drawing. I don't know what the hell I said, but it looks good.
I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna create that on PowerPoint today, and I'll post it. And discuss our discussion a little bit. Discuss our disgusting discussion. Yes.
Nice. So, what other things? Jorge says, indeed, creativity is a muscle. And this is, Jorge said, so true. We've intuitively done much of it brilliant. Now we can turn it into a process. That a lot of stuff that we do is intuitive. It is. We know the answers. We know what's going on. We're so busy up here with trivia, administrivia, little mini stresses that you can't concentrate. You can't focus.
Yeah. No, that's good. Now, how about you guys that are listening? You got any like interesting moments or periods of time in your day where creativity is working for you?
Yeah, would love to know that. Where I said we can turn intuition into a method and discipline. Ask the seal. There you go.
Well, through training like this and some consistency, you can definitely create your own little mental process, like you said, that allows you to get into that state a little bit quicker.
Let me tell you something. We all already have mental processes for everything, but they're subconscious, they're unconscious. You can train yourself to think, to be any way you want with a little bit of discipline and mainly discipline to be repetitive long enough for it to develop into a habit. And also to stop kicking yourself in the nards all the time when things don't go perfectly every time you do it. It's the point of creativity is like finger painting or clay when you were a kid. You see what comes out.
Yeah. No plan. Just put it on there.
Right. Exactly. David says, as soon as I wake up and do the early morning, the brain is ready. I do not walk enough and need to do that. It make a huge difference. Just the walking stuff. Or Angie said driving without the radio. That's another.
Oh yeah.
That'll do it.
I've had some good ones. Good ones just drive. I forgot all about that one. That's a great one.
Yeah, that is good. You remember Angie? Angie, we had Angie on the show.
Yeah.
We had her on. Yeah. She was very low key. She's the very personality driven coach lady.
That was fun.
She did a great job. So,
yeah, I guess now that I look at it, I probably have had more long road trip creativity moments than I have had just about any other. Walking, swimming, any of those. That's a huge one. I forgot all about that.
I'm going to share something with you. Sarah says pedaling on the stationary bike. That's a good one, especially if you're kind of in the boredom zone, which happens after, I don't know, you start pedaling.
Doesn't take long.
Yeah, I can get there quick. Just look at the damn thing and I'm bored. But I've told that story before when I had that headline idea for the 7-day ebook, how to write and publish your own outrageously profitable ebook in as little as 7 days. Even if you can't write, can't type, and failed high school English class. I told you that I made people in rush hour traffic wait through an entire stoplight signal while I wrote that down. This is something I'd never thought about. True story. This moment. My radio and cassette deck were broken. I was driving to and from work without that. And if I wanted to listen to something, I had this janky little ghetto rig of like a speaker hooked up to a portable CD player that I would have to listen to. And
like a Walkman?
Yeah, Walkman for CD player, but it didn't have the skip thing, that they came up with later, because like as soon as it vibrated a little bit, it would skip. So it was like, listen to see, and so I didn't listen to it very much, and I never thought about it until just now, man. But everything was busted. I didn't have the money to get it fixed, but I had that idea, and that headline changed my life. So that was pretty cool.
Interesting.
So Jorge wants to see your. He said, swimming works for me too. We want to see Stu's PowerPoint, please. So when you get that PowerPoint done, they're going to be able to see it at StuSmithFitness.com, right?
No, I'll put it up. I mean, this is for Jim and Stu show. I'm just going to do that creativity Venn diagram you made back there, and I'll post it on the Sales Copywriting Content Hacks Facebook group.
Oh, will you? Okay, yeah. Well, it's got a copyright on it, Stu.
I'm giving it to you, Jim. Just giving it to you.
I'm kidding. Guy, I never thought about that, man. But my radio was busted. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Huh.
It's just for the last 2 years, I just haven't gone for a long car ride.
and I was just about to say, we never go anywhere anymore.
I know. I was like, I need to get on a long car ride.
But, it's interesting that creativity comes from a quiet space normally, but yet we're going through life doing everything we can to fill that quiet space with as much noise as we can. turning on the radio, having music going in the background. Hey, Alexa, play gangster rap. Do you have an Alexa?
Yes.
Oh, is it? Oh, but you can't hear me. I did that to a friend of mine.
Oh,
we were on a
upstairs.
webinar, and I yelled, Alexa, play gangster rap. And it's Coolio kicks in. Hey, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I was like, oh my God, it's the best. And he was like, how do I turn that, Alexa? Turn that off. It was hilarious. So if you want to mess with people on Zoom, go ahead and do that.
That's good.
But we're trying to fill the quiet space instead of cultivating the quiet space to get our creativity pumping in order to come up with ideas that could change the world.
That's a really good point. I shared something with you the other day when I was doing some research on creativity, and I found a interesting little post on social media, and I'll read it for the group. It's kind of cool. It says, creative people need time to sit around and do nothing. Creative people do not need fully booked calendars. Creative people need to hear the world's heartbeat. Getting a little touchy-feely there. Creative people need stories and words to inspire. Creative people need space to feel, think, and be.
Nice.
I just thought it was an interesting post that, when I was in a mode to do some research for this podcast, that's what I found. And it was, makes sense.
Sort of.
It's a little, like, I don't consider myself an overly creative person. I have moments of creativity, but I'm not a person that needs to be creative or my world falls apart type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do, because what you just read there, I was thinking towards the end, are we talking about being creative or being a friggin' hippie? So I consider myself to be a creative person that is not a hippie. All right. So no man bun, no lobster on the top of my head, whatever it is, just not happening. But there you go. Oh my God. So you can't see this. Oh my God, Sarah. Oh my God. So Nancy said it's totally true. I get overwhelmed if things get too crazy or too scheduled. Yeah, that's I looked at my schedule and I rated my happiness based on what my Google Calendar looked like. And I was like, oh, hell no. No more. Because I was miserable. I was making everybody else miserable too. So that's when we just, stop nodding your damn head, girl. You're not too big for me to. So here's one from Sarah. Sarah says, interestingly, research has found that serial killers have their creativity stifled as children, apparently. Okay, I don't know what the hell you've been reading. I'll tell you. I mean, that's, whoa. Now, but hey, I'm not going to argue. I mean, I can't find one and question them. What are you going to do?
To that.
What are you going to do? Find one and ask, hey, did you not get hugged enough as a kid? I'm going to cut you. How do you do the interview?
No, they got their coloring book pulled away.
Yeah.
They couldn't be creative. Their creativity was dampened.
Okay. I got it. All right. Thanks, Nancy. So, and Jorge says, for me, creativity is the consequence, not the objective. See, for me, it's the objective. I want to get in that creative state to in order to either think something through. I want to get in that creative state to either just see what comes up. It's like the Wheel of Fortune. Let's see what kind of I almost said effed up, but what kind of messed up stuff comes out of my subconscious. But then also want to get creative on purpose to be able to accomplish a specific objective, whether creating an offer, brainstorming what I'm going to do in a class. There's one other thing I want to talk about. What is probably my most creative, or maybe creative's not the word, maybe intuitive, but I think it's creativity and intuitive have a dumpster baby. That's what it would be. When I first wake up in the morning, I like to lay there quietly and just think about stuff in that twilight between sleep and being fully awake. Because I can get some crazy stuff done.
That's a good one.
Or I'll mentally rehearse stuff. I will literally like rehearse an entire webinar. I'll rehearse telling a story. I'll think through an outline of something and get it perfect and then hop up and write it down as fast as I can. But this is a time for me when I purposely try to work it out so I can do that. And that's the one time when I'll use a snooze alarm.
Yeah.
I have a alarm clock that I wear on my wrist that vibrates to wake you up. So it won't disturb my partner. That's what you're supposed to call your wife now, your partner. So it doesn't disturb my partner, and I can hit the snooze button a couple of times. And in that 2 7-minute periods, I can get some crazy insight sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes it's like your brain got on some kind of turbo mode or something.
Yeah,
Just
it's like you're
figuring
almost
stuff
like
out.
not completely out of that dream state.
Exactly.
You're in that transition from dream state to awaken. Yeah, that's probably when you're at your most creative.
Yeah, that's when my little quantum computer's plugged into the universe, baby. All kind of stuff coming down, downloading the entire trigabyte, whatever the universe has to have. I don't know what that is. It's like a trillion and a gigabyte together. Trigabyte. Well, cool. Well, that's all I got, man. I hope y'all got some good stuff. This was a good one, Stu. I liked it. That was fun.
Cool.
Never at a loss for good stuff to talk about. Glad Alan's here all the way from the Philippines. Anna's here. And I just appreciate everybody being here. We had a great one. If you would like to see this, where are you going to post it inside the Facebook group? Where are you going to post this promise thing? Okay.
Sales, Copywriting, Content Marketing Hacks Facebook group.
So if you're not a member, you should be. It's free as long as you're not a jerk. We'll throw you out if you're a jerk. We only like nice people in the group. So go ahead and check it out on Facebook. Sales, Copywriting, Content Marketing Hacks Podcast. Also, if you're one of the 3 people left on planet Earth that don't have a copy of this book, I've still got enough in the warehouse to send you one for free if you just pay a small shipping and handling. There's only 3 people on Earth that aren't serious enough to actually have gotten this. I'm looking for them. And this book will help you to get more clicks, more sales, more profits, no matter what you sell or who you sell it to. And it's been called a modern day classic by some people that know what they're talking about, because I agree with what they say. So, Stu, and if people want to get in shape, it's spring, time to get rid of that winter belly. How are people able to do that?
It's cows and cardio time.
Did you get
at StuSmithFitness.com?
Did you get that domain? Did you get cowsandcardio.com?
I did not. I got my own hashtag I beat up on Instagram. Let's see.
Let's see. Cowsandcardio.com. You can't use the ampersand.
Yeah, no, you can't.
You can get it. CALSANDCARDIO.com if you want
All
it.
right. Yeah, I'm on GoDaddy right now. So
all right, nice work.
It's happening.
I'm gonna buy it and put that thing up for auction for like $9.97. Make a couple bucks. So nice work. All right, everybody. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. And remember, go over and check out the Facebook group at Sales, Copywriting, Content Marketing Hacks. And the link is on my Facebook because I don't know the exact thing. So there you go. All right. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.